The US military is everywhere. We already know how big the US military is. It's going to be pretty cool to see where exactly they are in the world and stuff, and see what kind of power they have globally. Before we do jump into this, around like 80% of you guys are not subscribed to the channel. If you guys don't mind hitting that subscribe button, it'll really help me out and help out the channel. Yeah, let's get straight into this, man.
Imagine a world where the most powerful country on Earth in 2021 wasn't the United States, but rather Spain.
Interesting.
And instead of setting up military bases just in their own country,
right,
they also set up bases all around the world. Lots of those bases are in former colonies, but also there's a bunch in the United States. Just imagine this. You zoom into Fayetteville, North Carolina, and you see a huge military base. But it's not a US military base.
Oh, wow, that's massive.
It's a Spanish base on American soil, with lots of homes for the Spanish soldiers and their families, powerful weapon systems, aircraft, all run by the Spanish military. Go inside of one of these bases and it's all Spanish restaurants. Americans can't come in here unless they work for the Spanish government. And then imagine 100 more of these, all throughout the United States on American soil, and hundreds of more throughout the world. Or shift.
I actually feel like, now that he's using Spain as a reference, people would be like tripped out. Like, okay, this is a bit strange, you know what I mean? But then, like, he's gonna say that America has that and we're not tripped out because, you know, we're all good with America but then again, we're all good with Spain.
The scenario a little bit. What if it was a country that and hundreds of more throughout the world? Or
I feel like because it's just not Spain, it's a little bit trippy. It's America, right? So like, it's normal for America to have this many bases around. But okay, I see where he's going.
Shift the scenario a little bit. What if it was a country that wasn't our ally? A country like China? What if they had military bases, not in the US, but right up close to our border?
Yeah, man.
Powerful weapon systems right off our shores and
That would be
islands
scary.
in the Caribbean. If you're an American, you have to imagine what that would feel like. If you're not an American, it's likely you already kind of know what this feels like. The United States has an extensive network of military bases outside of our borders.
Right.
Hundreds of bases. I've been
Yeah, this is true, but I'm not American, and I don't see it as a problem, right? Because like, we're such good allies with American stuff. Hopefully you guys don't turn on us. That would be bad. But I feel like because like we're so used to you guys just, you know, being all good, part of NATO, stuff like that, it don't seem bad. With Spain, it's like I said earlier, it's a little bit trippy because they don't have that, you know, powerful hold everywhere. But Spain is also an ally as well, so it wouldn't be that weird. But with China, or like Russia, for example, then we're starting to get like, yeah, that's scary, bro. That's scary.
Fascinated for a very long time about understanding these US foreign bases abroad, but I've never actually taken the time to accurately map them. So let's do it. Let's map every single US military base around the world.
I know there's a lot, but
that's a huge task.
But how many?
This is the story of the men of the United States Army.
I know we've just seen the numbers into the 400s. Surely not 400s, right? My guess would be military bases global. There's like 160 countries, something like that, right? I would say probably, are we including America or not? I'd say maybe 200-ish.
Army who made this project possible, and of man's never-ceasing quest for knowledge.
This is a full armored division.
Maybe
to give you an
400,
idea
yeah.
of size, each of those small
200,
dark
400.
squares includes more than 1,000 men.
The United States military is bigger than any of us can really fathom.
Right.
It's so big that even the US military doesn't know how big the US military is. Back in 2018, 1,200 independent accountants and analysts came in to try to audit the US Department of Defense. To basically try to get like a paper trail of how big this thing is, how much money it spends, etc. And the Department of Defense didn't pass the audit. Like they literally did not have the documents or the knowledge to really piece together a full scope of what this organization is, how big it is, how much money it spends. So we don't know. Nobody knows.
Is it because there's so many different sections and so many people controlling so many different sections in different parts of the world and stuff? So is that why? Because, bro, you would just assume that the US government would know how big the military is, right?
How big the Pentagon is is, how big it is, how much money it spends. So we don't know. Nobody knows how big the Pentagon is in all of its forms. All we do know is that objectively, it is one of the, if not the largest and most powerful organization on the planet and in the history of humanity.
Right.
I mean, if you have a organization that's more powerful than the Department of Defense in the history of humans, like, let me know. I want to know about it. But as far as I can tell, there's nothing bigger and more powerful than the United States military in 2021. And much of the U.S. military is not actually in the U.S., but is actually outside of our borders, all around the world.
This post is somewhere in Germany.
Wait. That's the map?
Outside of our borders, all around the world.
This post is...
Okay. Obviously not in Russia. Right? Okay. Where's this place? Not in Australia? Interesting. Very interesting. Not in America. No, I'm kidding. I know it's not included in America. Wait, but there's only one in Canada? Okay.
Somewhere in Germany, overlooking of the Iron Curtain.
One of the first things that Joe Biden and his administration did when they came into power a couple of weeks ago down the road was ask for an assessment of how big is our military presence around the whole world? What is our strategy? And what actually does this presence look like?
The department will conduct a global force posture review of U.S. military footprint, resources, and strategies.
Footprint. I like that. That's like a nice thing. Like, what's our footprint? How big is our footprint around the world? We don't really know. The Pentagon is gonna start to try to assess that. So let's help the Pentagon out and try to map every single United States base around the entire...
I don't understand. How is it possible that you don't know how big your own military is? It's that big, bro. What?
Entire world. Let's do it. United States base around the entire world. Let's do it.
So you're telling me this man right now is going to do what they couldn't? Or he's going to try anyway?
It wasn't too long ago when I used to think that having military bases in other countries was totally normal. Like, doesn't every country have like military bases in other countries? Yeah. Anyway, this...
Wait, what is the answer to that, actually? Because I swear the UK has military bases in other countries. I'd be very surprised if we didn't. Obviously not to the extent that America has.
This was sort of reinforced for me when I was in college. I did an internship at NATO, with the headquarters of NATO, which was in Brussels. To get this job, I had to get a secret security clearance from the US government in order to enter the military base, which was NATO. This was really...
Wait, so we're watching like a secret spy right now? This guy... Yo!
In order to enter the military base, which was NATO. This was really cool because there was always like people coming through NATO that I got to meet, like my diplomacy hero Madeleine Albright, who used to be the Secretary of State, or this guy.
Great honor representing
oh, no way.
Abroad for the last 37 years.
Good old Joe. Hey Joe, had no idea you'd be president someday. Anyway, the big benefit of having this secret security clearance is that I could go into any military base anywhere. And so on Saturdays, I would drive an hour from Brussels.
Yo, what job did this guy have, bro? He's got a clearance where you can just go to any military base? What?
To a little village in the Belgian countryside where a military base had been sort of plopped down in the middle of the Belgian countryside, in between like stone walls and quaint streets and sheep and farming plots. Yeah, it's a little blurry in this map because it's, you know, a military base and sometimes they blur the satellite imagery. Nothing I can do about it, sorry. And as soon as I entered into the base, went through all the security and I was in the base, I felt like I had left Belgium and was suddenly entering suburban America.
Welcome to the United States.
There was a Taco Bell and movie theaters with American movies and all sorts of shops and like yoga studios and like a grocery store that had all...
Whoa, bro, yo. Listen. I need to find US military bases in the UK right now and I could just do a bunch of videos there in the restaurants. I don't know how I'll get in. I need to become a secret spy and then get in. But yeah, we could work on that. We could work on that.
All of the products that I was very used to, all at the same prices I could get them in the United States, even though they had been flown across the Atlantic and brought to this place, which is a very expensive thing to do. It was a dream for me as a poor college kid living in Brussels and feeling a little bit homesick, to be honest. I hadn't really figured out culture shock at this point. So yeah, I kind of loved it. And I was, again, sort of like, doesn't everyone have military bases in other countries and they can sort of just go to their military base? And it was just, I was so naive. Alas, I've learned the truth.
All right, here we go. Here we go.
Luckily, I was able to talk to somebody who literally wrote the book on U.S. military bases abroad.
Most U.S. bases abroad look like not so small U.S. towns.
Over the years, David has been researching and compiling a database of all the U.S. bases around the world. The result is a very detailed audit that hasn't really ever been done to this degree. In fact, a few years ago, the Pentagon's own research arm, the RAND Corp, was doing some research on military bases abroad. And instead of using the Pentagon's list of U.S. military bases abroad, these guys used David's list. Like, they used David. He was like, he's a professor. He's like an anthropologist. He's not like a part of DOD. And yet they're like, this list that he made is actually more authoritative than like the Pentagon's own list.
Bro, I don't get how that's possible. I don't understand how that's possible. It's not computing in my head how the Pentagon ain't got the proper list, bro.
I mean, I'm sort of honored, but it's not a good sign if the Pentagon research arm is using my list and not the Pentagon's own list.
So I got a hold of David's list and started wrestling with the data and finding a way to display it on a map so that I could get every single base to show somehow.
Yo, listen, that would take so much time to do. Listen. If you've not yet seen this guy's channel or this guy's video, his link will be in the description. Make sure before you carry on watching this video, you go subscribe to him, because, bro, that would take so long to do.
After a few weeks of doing this, I finally have a map. And that map looks like this.
No way.
Every dot on this map is a U.S. military base or installation of some sort in a different country. Many of these dots are not placed exactly where the base is, because many of these bases are clustered in areas. And if I tried to map them all in the exact spot where they really are, they would all just sort of stack on top of each other and you wouldn't really be able to see them. But these dots represent every single base outside of the United States, from huge complexes.
Yo, there's loads in Germany.
The size of Rhode Island, to small airstrips, little facilities that only house American drones or radar or supplies. This is all of them, and at least all that we know of. And if you look at this map and you...
True. Listen. I bet you any money there is... I have no clue. It'll be really interesting to see the comments on this, but... what do you think to, like, maybe double the amount for secret bases, or maybe like half a double the amount? You know what I mean? But there's going to be a lot of secret American bases as well.
This is all of them, and at least all that we know of. And if you look at this map and you see a base that you know of that is not here, or one that is there that doesn't belong there, tell me about it. I want to know, because this is sort of hard information to ascertain. The Pentagon is not very transparent, and neither are host countries about where certain bases are and why they exist.
Many of the bases around the world are their existence is due to an agreement between the two countries that is often not open to the public, that is secret.
Any errors here are mine and not David's. All in all,
do you know what though? I kind of understand a little bit why they'll keep that kind of intel secret. You know what I mean? Because, like, when you're talking about military and armies, let's say a war happened to break out, they wouldn't want that information out there, right? it would be a benefit to them if they had secret bases and stuff like that, right? Or information of what base does, etc., hidden to the enemy, right? So it kind of does make sense a little bit. I don't know. Let me know in the comments how you guys feel about that. I don't know.
The number here is about 750. 750 U.S. military bases, big and small, outside of the United States.
Bro, purely outside. Mad. That's 6-7 times as many countries, bro. No, less than that. 5-ish. I don't know. I'm not doing the math right now.
By outside of the United States, I'm including...
Wait. Hold on. Why is there so many... Huh? Why is there so many bases in the middle of the ocean? Are there islands here? I thought this part here was just ocean. Like, obviously, there's a couple islands scattered around, right? But there's so many in this. What's this part? What actually is this part? To be fair, it's really good them having a basis here because, like, it's halfway. Do you know what I mean? Like, they can go from America, refuel a little bit, you know, have some food, and then go again. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, there's a lot in this section right here.
States, I'm including U.S. territories that are not equal to the United States, like Guam,
right,
Puerto Rico, etc. But in reality, we probably don't know the real number because that data just simply is not transparently available to us.
100%.
There are a couple of major clusters here where the most bases exist. One major one is Germany, and the others are Japan and South Korea. These are basically holdovers from World War II and the subsequent Korean War, when the US, who won the war, came in and occupied these countries in order to set up a new government, right?
Oh, that makes sense why there's so many in those countries then. Because I was actually shocked how many there were in Germany.
A new constitution, and to help the post-war transfer to a new government.
Right.
But what's most interesting to me aren't these clusters that came about because of World War II, but instead the far-flung, sort of unexpected or little-known places that the US military has a little footprint. Like all the dots in Africa, which have popped up in recent years as the US has expanded its presence there. These are usually small installations that hold maybe a few soldiers or mainly private citizens who are government contractors. And they mainly house things like drones or radar or weapon systems. You also have this cluster of dots deep in the Indian Ocean, which is the island of Diego Garcia, which I've talked about at length, about the US military's role in displacing hundreds of local people to set up a base there. Some of these dots are just airstrips,
Wait, what? Did I just hear that right? Displaced is like they moved them to put the base. Wait, what? Huh?
Of local people to set up a base there. Some of these dots are just airstrips, a runway in the middle of nowhere. And these runways usually belong to the host country, and the US just rents them for a period of time. And these runways usually belong to the host country.
That is beautiful. Well, I know why they're here. Mate, this is the military's holiday destination.
And the US just rents them for a period of time. Like this facility in the middle of the desert in Oman. Places like this exist to hold supplies in case a war breaks out. So the US maintains these stockpiles of war supplies all around the globe so that they can strike at any point without having to ramp up a war economy at home. It takes away a lot of friction from going to war.
They've made it easier for the US military to launch offensive wars. The wars in Iraq and Afghanistan were easier to launch because the US has maintained a huge infrastructure of bases.
Some of these dots don't represent a place where US soldiers are actually stationed, but instead it represents where money from the Pentagon has gone to influence or build up infrastructure. For example, in Iceland, the US is spending a lot of money, tens of millions of dollars, to upgrade this airport, the airport that we all go through when we're going to Iceland.
Really?
But doing it for military purposes so that the US can use it, can land there if needed. So next time you land in Iceland on your way to the Blue Lagoon, just know that you're passing by one of these little dots.
Yo, that's actually interesting. What the hell?
Over here in the Azores, these islands that are owned by Portugal, nearly 2,000 kilometers away from any landmass, there is...
Oh my god, bro, we go to the islands that I was talking about.
Owned by Portugal.
In the middle.
Nearly 2,000 kilometers away from any landmass.
There's so many.
There is a group of US military installations mainly used for refueling and weapon storage.
Bro, I am so smart. Refueling, get some food, halfway point, boom.
Head up here to Greenland and you'll see a little base way up high, the most northern base in the world where 140 Americans live. Kind of looks interesting. I'd love to go there someday. Way out here in the Pacific, you've got loads of remote military bases.
Wait, does he still have his Secret Service pass? Like, could he actually go there now if he wanted to?
Way out here in the Pacific, you've got loads of remote military bases owned by the United States. They're mainly small airstrips, like this base on the southern tip of this huge atoll of the Marshall Islands. All right, listen, I'm not going to explain every single base. There are 750, maybe 800. There's a bunch of bases. I just wanted to give you a flavor of what some of these look like. They're diverse. They're all over the place. And they're fascinating to me. I have been compiling accounts of people who live next to US military bases. I have over 100 accounts from people that, from my call out on Instagram. I want more. I want to make an entire video about life next to a base.
Oh, wow.
And that is why I'm calling upon all of you. I'm going to put a link in my description to like a survey. It's like a form of like what it's like to live next to a US military base. I have it right here. And I'm going to be checking it. You can fill out this form, and then I will get your response and I will read through your response and I will use that to construct an understanding of what life is like next to a US military base.
Right.
I talked to David a bunch about this too. He's done a bunch of research, done a bunch of interviews.
Well, I ain't gonna lie. If they're actually, they won't be American, will they? I was gonna say if they're American, they could just go in and get a bunch of snacks, get a bunch of American restaurants and stuff like that. It's probably good. But then again, if you're living next to it, you're probably from that country, right?
Interviews, and I want to keep talking about this. So, if you don't live next to a military base, I want to hear from you, like, what are your thoughts about this? Whether you're an American or not an American, like, does this seem right? Does this seem like the right choice, the right thing for our taxpayer money to be going towards?
Uh-oh.
I'm still making up my mind on a lot of this stuff, and I want to start a discussion. My goal in this video was to just map it, was to just look at it, be able to see it on a map. And I've finally done that. By the way,
see, I'm not American, so like I'm not gonna be talking from like taxpayers' point of view, whatever, right? That's for the Americans to decide. But like, listen, from watching this video, bro, it's actually like, to me, it seems like a benefit that America has such a strong point around the world. Since like you do have like Russia and China, you know, don't really get along with America. So the fact that they got like all the bases around the world that they could just access at any point and just makes life easy for them. Sure, I'm pretty sure Americans like the fact that like their military is so big and stuff, right? I don't know. I could be wrong, but I don't know. Comment down below what you think and what you think of this.
There will be a high-res version of this map on my Patreon for patrons who sign up for the map background tier. That will be there. So I will be in the comments more than normal for this video. And I want to hear from you. Before you go, I want to say thank you to...
Actually, he did a lot of work, bro. Make sure you go check him out. But yeah, no, that actually would be interesting to know, like, your guys' thoughts being in America. What do you actually think of, like, your military and having that many bases around? But yeah, that was a good video. Really, really, really interesting. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. If you did, make sure you thumbs up, subscribe for more content. I'm live every single day on twitch.tv/LFWG if you guys want to check me out over there. I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.